also on Twitch.
Yes, we have a Twitch stream.
On Steam, on Steam.
Yes, and on Steam too. I just connected
Yeah.
Steam. Just could you
Okay.
please check if all the streams are working fine? Okay. Working fine, seems to me. Let's check it on Steam.
On YouTube, and also I can hear you well.
So you
on
hear
stream.
well, and does the sound? I mean, is it okay or sound some strange, some kind of a robotic voice, or it's fine?
It sounds okay.
Okay, that's fine. At least it's don't hit in one ear only, right?
Yes.
Okay, guys. So guys, I think we can get started because we already must be working almost everywhere. The only thing that I don't see the Steam. Oh, yeah, it works on Steam too. That's fine. That's really fine. Okay, guys. Well, I think Daria, then we can get started. So, could you please give a brief introduction?
Yeah. So, hi everyone. Great to be here as always on our monthly stream. So it will be fun today. So don't forget that you can join us on our Discord server and talk to us in a real in a voice.
Or to talk to us online.
Yeah.
All right. So, guys, nice to meet you all tonight, or today, whatever time of day and night you're gonna have according to your location. So, this real stream of ours would be dedicated to just telling some stuff about what's going on with the project, and also we decided that you see, not long ago, we have a very good talk with a good friend of ours who is a professional 3D artist and working for many cool projects and companies. And we decided to ask him a couple of questions. Unfortunately, this guy doesn't speak English at all. That's why we, of course, wanted to invite him to take part in the stream, but as you can understand, it's not possible because this stream is for English-speaking people, and that's why we're speaking English only. But I think we would do our best to transfer some interesting information which came to us according to about what's going on with computer graphics and general 3D in games now. I believe it would be interesting for you to learn some cool things which we will be happy to share with you. All right. So, as usual, Daria would be looking for your comments and questions, and we will answer them in first place, because that's not our talking to you or talking between us, but it's more a dialogue with you. So don't be shy, write your questions. Also, you can join us via the open Discord voice channel and just be with us on stream and just asking us questions during this stream. All right, so guys, now we are just fixing the very well. What we almost done with fixing most of the bugs which we had to face recently. We have just a couple of things to be done on the network coding in order to make sure that everything works properly. And then when we are finished with all these fixes, which I just mentioned, we'll be more than happy to let you know the date of the new open public test. That's why follow our social media, keep an eye on what we are posting. Also, if you might have noticed, not long ago, we made a post with first line of skins for Zealous. So check our social media and you'll find this post. Okay, So that's as far as the development goes. Guys, of course, I know that you want to learn for more updates or you want to know some exact dates, but as usual, I say we are in the team. We unfortunately are limited in resources. That's why we don't have an opportunity to just make everything really, really fast and to have everyone working full time. That's why it's really hard to talk about any exact dates and deadlines because that's how it works out. But as usual, we are frank with you and we are making the streams so you know that we are working to give you some idea about what we are doing and so on and so forth. All right. So what we want to just maybe talk to you right now and to make it a kind of a maybe theme of our stream. So do you think if we can go just to the, to just telling what we learned from our colleague, or there is something else you want to share with the audience?
As there are now no comments, I believe we can move to our topic because that's really interesting and kind of in vogue. So maybe maybe people would like to hear it.
Okay, so you see, just maybe a couple of months ago, I believe, not maybe by the end of the previous year, once Daria asked me that, okay, let's make a kind of a joke post. Let's use some AE network for Midjourney in order to check what it would do if we just paste BeastHour. So it was a funny thing, and at that time, Midjourney became one of the most popular AI networks, and people from our team just were making fun, just trying to generate some images, some jokes, some memes, and of course, everyone was just typing down BeastHour. So everyone was just curious what the network would draw, what results they could get. And then we'll just gather some results which we liked and decided to make a post about what network AI thinks about BeastHour. And then there was a quite unusual response, which actually made us very, well, I would even say uneasy about that. So, Daria, could you just in a few words say what happened in the comments when we posted this kind of a joke image?
When we've posted it on Reddit, there were like a lot of comments, and some of them were positive, but some people were worried that we will use Midjourney, for example, for our game, and we will implement it.
So yeah, the funny thing was that first of all, people, although we, I would say, didn't say anything like that, start thinking that we are using AI network in order to generate a real in-game art, which then would be presented to the players. And then it was really strange from our point of view to learn that people not really liked it. Okay, I think that someone joined us.
Yes, Losha, our second community manager.
Ah, Alex, hi, how are you doing?
Hi.
Could you hear us?
We can't hear you.
Check. Hi.
Hi.
Oh, hi.
Alex, how are you doing?
Don't ask.
Uh,
I'm alive.
That's cool. You see, guys, I just want to share a small secret. I hope Alex won't be mad with me for that. Actually, Alex is a kind of a person who likes music, and he now is working on a very interesting thing, which I will try to keep secret. But we do hope that next stream will present to you how this thing works, and I think that you'll like it. Alex, is it okay that I mentioned this stuff?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So we will just, you might, maybe you've heard or maybe you've missed that now Daria told a story about how we make a post with Midjourney generated images which came after typing in Beast Tower, and how people in the comments were really, there are two different opinions. Somebody really liked what we've done. Others start being worried that we are going to use the result as in-game art, and they didn't like it. So just to give a short, a really short intro about what's the problem with AI generated images. So last year, the AI network called Midjourney started becoming really popular and started getting really good results by generating images using just text phrases which people would type in. And many artists start thinking that it would be a bad tool because they would get lost and nobody would need their work and they will finally lose their jobs. And somehow among players, gamers, there appeared a thought that, okay, AI generated content is bad because, of course, there are some questions regarding the intellectual property rights, because as you know, AI analyzes the really created images which it can find in the web or on special websites like the mentioned ArtStation or DeviantArt, where a lot of artists would put their work on. So at that point, we really faced this problem of perception, how people think, what they like and what they don't like about the AI. So before I'll just give you some other interesting data which we recently got from our colleague, I would love if Alex and Daria would tell their own opinion about AI networks. So Daria, what do you think about all this AI generated images, and how do you consider it to be good or bad for the video gaming industry? What do you think?
For me, as I'm not an artist, so it's hard for me to see it's like a real threat, because I believe that for me it's all very new, and I'm just interested to how it will develop in future, and how what's don't know how to explain it explain it right.
So you are just curious about where it all will result in?
I'm interested how it will affect on the industry and on the artist, because I'm quite far from it.
All right. Alex, and what is your opinion about all this situation with AI networks and their, well, influence on video games?
Are we talking gameplay wise or like textures and models and stuff like that? Because it depends. If we're talking about like in the video games, I mean, if we're talking about making like textures, models, or even like some art concept, it might work as a reference, I guess. Like whatever AI is gonna give to an artist, it's like a reference, which might be cool, I guess. If we're talking about gameplay wise, as in what do this character does or what this character does, that I'm not sure of. But textures, definitely, there's some. It might be influencing an artist.
So, and from your perspective, not as a community manager, not as a person who wants to just who is interested in gaming industry professionally, but just as a person who likes playing games, doesn't it matters for you much if some character, some illustration or background in the game is AI generated or is made, well, by hands by a real person. Does it make any difference for you in terms of just judging about do you like or don't like the game?
I guess that depends on the scale. Like again, if we're gonna take some textures, for example, that was made for like one object that you see only once in game, no. But if the everything is in the game was made through I might kind of consider that because it's kind of a lazy way to do it, I guess. Like the one thing I'm scared is that just everybody is gonna be lazy and they're gonna do everything through AI, and that's kind of concerning to me. I
Okay,
guess.
let me just ask this question a bit different way. So just tell me, what is your most favorite game?
Team Fortress 2.
Team Fortress 2. Okay, let's consider that in Team Fortress 2, well, of course it's impossible, but still, let's just imagine there appears a new character, some kind of I don't know, some new character, just some new character, and you will he's cool, very good looking, interesting character, but then you learn that this his image, all the visuals, I mean concept art, the idea was created using AI and it wasn't drawn by a real person. Would it make any difference for you if you like it or not? But again, I just say that it's very well done.
If we're talking about like just looks of the character, no, I guess not. All I care, because I'm kind of a gameplay guy. I really care about gameplay. So just how the character looks, not really. If ideas of gameplay was made or something, maybe that will concern me. Kind of maybe I'll be kind of warned, so to speak.
So, but you, what would be the problem with that? So, for example, let's imagine that AI became so powerful and well developed that now it can create even gameplay. So, if the gameplay is cool, solid, and fluent, would you still be uneasy about the fact that it's AI generated?
Again, I'm gonna talk from the Team Fortress 2 perspective.
Of course.
I'd say yes, because long story short, Team Fortress 2 for me at least is just it has a great balance. Like maybe like 70% of the gameplay is just balanced. And there's a lot of different things. For example, every character has its unlockable weapon that gives different attributes. And there's just a lot of combinations you can make within a team and it will work. Like, for example, there's a character, I don't know, you can take two soldiers, for example, one that's gonna heal you because he replaces his shotgun on the healing one, so you don't need medic. The second one can take a pretty much anti-sentry rocket launcher and just delete every sentry on the map. And like there's a lot of like small things that makes character, and I think that AI is not gonna first of all it's not gonna see the Valve's original way, not the way original idea of the gameplay. And the second one and is that AI won't consider those small parts of the gameplay. And but if developers is gonna take an idea and they're gonna kind of shape it to fit the gameplay, I don't know, 50-50 again, for me
Okay.
at least.
Okay, I got your idea.
It might work again if gameplay is solid, maybe, but for example, if there's gonna be a developer that's gonna do that, it's gonna pretty much send the first boat in the ocean, so to speak. Like they'll see it'll work, and everybody be like, all right, we're gonna AI generate everything. That's what it's kind of a snowball effect, I guess. So that's what I'm concerned of.
Okay, got your idea. So, well, guys, and now if we just see from the perspective of the, well, the year which is going now and the previous one, well, as far as I see from the news and as I see from different talks with my colleagues, a lot of studios are working hard on implementing the AI into their pipeline, especially when it considers production of computer graphics. I mean, first of all, 2D images, especially those who are working on mobile and on casual gaming, where you have lots of 2D images to be drawn. I mean, lots of items, backgrounds, characters, and all stuff like that. People would say that they are saving up to 70% of their time. And now, a lot of professional artists.
Anton,
Yeah.
there's something with your micro.
So what's the problem now?
You cuts up.
Sorry?
Yeah.
There are cuts, a lot of cuts.
Cuts? Okay.
Like it cutting up.
Okay.
Can you repeat?
Well, I'll just try maybe. Okay. So I'll try to repeat. So just do you hear me well now? Or it's still working not fine?
Still not fine.
Okay, I'll just try to go into the properties. Okay, now how do you hear me?
Oh, it's okay. Yeah.
And now, is it a problem that you hear me only in one ear or not?
On stream, yes.
Okay, but there is no cuts.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, guys. Sorry for that. I just don't know what's going on with my mic because people in Discord hear me absolutely 100% well, but somehow on the stream things don't work right. I don't know how it happens. Unfortunately, there is an inconvenience. I apologize for you, but currently I believe it's not impossible to fix it by just, I mean, okay. Okay, don't know how. Oh, okay, guys, I'm sorry. I'm not a sound dude, and just I can't fix it quickly. Sorry for that again. I'll just try to switch back to the another mode, and if you still continue hearing me in cuts, just let me know. All right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Daria, could you check if you hear me well? I mean, on the stream in both ears. Check, check, check.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now it's smooth. I mean, no cuts.
Yes.
Okay. So the point is that, as I've said, I have talks with professional colleagues who are working as 2D artists and studios and working on 2D projects, and they're really, really keen on using the AI, and they do succeed in using it because they start making everything. Well, they're saving up to 70% of their working time, which is crazy. But as far as the problem with losing jobs, with having less people involved in the production, I haven't heard about that, and nobody told me about that. What people would say is that if you want to be a successful and artist who can easily find a place in a studio, you should be also studying the AI now. So you must be working with Midjourney or some other AI network which would help you to generate images quickly and to understand how you should be using the text and word combinations in order to get the result needed. I would say that we are thinking about if it's possible to use it in Beast Tower. Currently, I can't say that we came to any solution which would help us out about that, because, you know, well, we need a very precise art. So we need to get a very exact designs of especially characters which we want to do. That's why I do not know how it's possible for us generally use the AI on the current level of development of the technology. But still, we can't deny that it would really, really influence the industry in the coming years, because it's just already doing it, although the, you know, this, I don't know how to say it better, this excitement, this craziness is even one less than a year old. Okay, but the other thing which I also came across just today, I found a video on YouTube when a person was using such a 3D software as Blender. You know, it's a kind of a free software which is quite popular even among professional artists nowadays. Quite a young software compared to things like 3ds Studio Max or Maya or by Autodesk. But, you know, it's now just one of the tools which people start using more and more. And the guy who was making this tutorial used some AI, which name unfortunately I don't remember, but in connection with Blender, he managed to use just a photo of a person on the white background in the pirate suit. I mean, some kind of a cosplayer or something like that. And he generated a 3D model. And it was not only generated from the one side, from the face side, like it was presented on the photo, but it was done in 360. And this just makes me crazy how things start developing and how it's possible to just create stuff.
Again, a problem with the mic.
I'm sorry, guys. Oh my god. Sorry, guys. I'll just okay, I'll just need to switch it back to the previous usage. Sorry for that. I'll try to fix it a bit later, guys, but not during the stream, because it's the time when we need to talk to you. Sorry for this inconvenience. Well, so this 360 model just looked, I mean, it can't say that it's finally polished and 100% ready for putting into the game engine or something like that. No, it's not. But it's a very good draft, and especially it solves a very important problem which is faced by... Huh?
I'm sorry, but again, problems. Can't hear you well.
I don't know what happens. Sorry, guys.
But in towards, as I saw that video, this guy just used a photo and implemented it in Blender and created a 3D model on it, which looks kind of well.
Okay, and I'll just made I don't know, one setting fix. Does it work okay now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, I don't know what is a kind of a setting which I just switched on, turned on, but hope it will work. Yeah, so it's just crazy how it's working. Maybe I missed something when I watched this video, I don't know, but still it's just unbelievably cool how it just can, in a matter of seconds, create a thing which would take, well, maybe some half an hour, maybe even more for even a professional artist. And also it solves a very important problem of having the very right proportions, because it just takes exactly, I mean, the width of the shoulders, the height of the person, and it just works together pretty great. So what I would say about all this stuff which is going on, that I would still think that AI should be taken first of all as a tool, right? Because at some point, just artists, professional artists for CG and games started working using computer and not just brush, pencils, oils, and as the other traditional media, and it just made very good results. So AI may be just bringing this thing of the next level, and it would just help to save time and produce more cool games. Well, actually, we don't know what would happen in the future, and now we're just discussing and sharing our opinions. That's why, guys, could you tell me what's a kind of your feeling? What would you think? How all the situation will actually develop? Maybe you read some articles, or maybe you talked with some friends of yours who shared their own opinion about that. Daria?
Repeat, please.
I mean, what actually is your thought? What do you think all this AI development would bring to? What would be the result?
I believe that now it's again, I'm not an artist, and maybe I just can't see the whole picture. But for me, it seems like a new way to create something, and I can't say right now if it's bad or it's great. I think that the time will show it.
All right, Alex, and what's your kind of vision of the future? Would be there the rise of the machines?
Again, if we're gonna look at this AI stuff as in, like you said, tool, and it's a tool that's gonna make reference for an artist, like modeler or whatever, I guess it can work. Like, it's gonna happen anyway, eventually, right? So we gotta prepare ourselves. Will it take like people's jobs? Probably not, because you need to operate that. It's definitely not gonna be automated process. Will it help them, for example, making like models, like you mentioned? Yes. I mean, I don't know. I'm sort of like 50-50 on that. It's not bad, and I see the potentials, but again, I'm really scared of that snowball effect. It's just somebody. It's gonna be like, for example, humans gonna do like 50 like percent of job, and AI is gonna do the second part. But then it's gonna be that person is gonna make 30% of job, and the AI is gonna make 70. And that's what I'm afraid of. If there's gonna be some sort of a balance, then yes, I guess it can work, and it will happen eventually. So yeah, and then I don't really what to say else.
Because, guys, you see, I thought about lots, and I already managed to make a couple of interviews for gaming editions. So some web magazines, some training courses. They just asked for my opinion about all that stuff which is happening with AI. And honestly speaking, the more I talk about it and the more I listen to different opinions, well, still I feel that it's a kind of a very similar situation which happened, I would say, at the beginning of the 20th century. So just give me a couple of minutes to give you maybe some historical reference, which is not connected with games, but I believe makes a very good illustration of what currently makes. So I believe all of you know who is Henry Ford, right?
Who?
Henry Ford.
Ah,
Oh, the actor?
No. It was a person who was in charge of creating the car, the first the first mass production of automobiles in the USA. Mr.
American businessman.
Yes, American businessman.
Oh, okay.
You see, he just was a crazy inventor. I mean, with these production lines which he created and then which allowed mass production of everything, not only the automobiles and cars. And another thing which actually, well, just let's make a funny thing. What achievement of Mr. Ford is considered in USA to be of the greatest value? What? Just give me your idea, because when I'll tell you, I think you'll be amazed. Because he made a lot of things, but what is his greatest achievement? Actually, according to the people who lived in his area, in his time. Why they admired this man?
Maybe because he made it available for everyone.
Okay, what are the ideas, Alex?
Well, my guess within the context we're talking, he made some sort of like a machine that making with the production, like help make products. I don't know.
Okay, guys, just to save time, because I totally understand that I would never guessed it if I haven't read about it or actually watched a documentary on this thing. The point is that before the mass production of automobiles became possible, all the traveling, all the transportation were made using horsepower. And as you know, horses are animals, and they eat, and they have all types of all the processes in their body. So they, I would say, just in easy words, they produce a lot of rubbish, which lives on the street. I mean, I think you understand what I'm talking about, right? And you see all the cities of the United States where a lot of people were living, where there were a lot of factories or any other types of...
I suppose we can't hear you now.
You can hear me at all? Do you hear me? 1, 2, 3?
Yes, but not the whole time.
Oh my god, I don't know what happens. I don't know, maybe there is some problem with the connection, of course, but I don't know. So you hear me well on Discord, but you don't hear me well on stream?
No, on Discord it's also.
Okay, let's see what's up.
It sounds like it's a connection thing, because it's like I can hear you good for like 2 minutes, but then it's starting to cut off, and like I can't even hear how the white noise in the background is getting louder. I guess it's
let's try just to maybe hope that this time it would be better. But now you hear me well, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So at what point you started hearing me worse?
There was something about rubbish.
Yes, that horses, they provide a lot of rubbish and dirt. Well, you understand it. Let's use these easy words for these terms. And you see, people were just crazy cleaning the streets, and each time you would have to go just on the foot somewhere, on feet, just to visit your friends or relatives. Well, you just had to wash your boots all the time on all your clothes, because it was covered in this dirt. And after the mass automobile production became possible, people stopped using horses. And cities became far cleaner. Of course, there appeared some problems with pollution of air and things like that, but people started understanding that far later.
Again. Sorry.
Okay. Let me check what may take so much. So the same situation is on Discord, right?
Yeah.
On stream, it's the same when we can't hear you in Discord. We also can't hear you on stream.
Actually, guys, I'm at a loss. What's happening? Sorry for that. I hope it won't just be such a problem, and we'll manage to, to just finish the story. Okay, then just tell me if you stop hearing me so I can repeat things. All right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so when people stopped using horsepower and streets became cleaner, but the other problem arose that people who were involved in the whole process of breeding horses, of feeding horses, of cleaning horses, of training horses, they stopped being so important, and they also start decreasing this market of horsepower and of people involved with working with these animals. But then a new market was created for people who were in charge of repairing cars, cleaning cars, developing cars and things like that. So I would say that from my point of view, the same situation would take place in video gaming. The same situation would take place in video gaming, that, okay, maybe there wouldn't be a lesser demand for people who can just draw by hand and create everything from scratch, but there would be a new market for those who would be able to work with AI and to do things there and maybe fixing some stuff after the image is being generated. And also there is a very cool story which we learned just today, that some artists tried the approach of, teaching the AI to draw and paint in their own style. Well, let's assume there is some person who just makes paintings in Photoshop which really resemble the work with oils, as if he's painting with this substance, right? But digitally. And after putting around 100 of images into the AI brain, it starts producing things similar to what this dude is doing. So actually now the person is in charge of creating the art style and teaching that to the AI in order then to remove from him or her the routine job of painting thousands of similar images. And this is really cool. Then after you manage to do it, you just need people who can do things like that. And one would say that in this situation, less people would be needed to make the projects and to create the same amount of games which we have, around the same number which we produce every year, right? But what I think that if it would become easier and cheaper to make projects, games, then I would say that more and more games would be appearing on the market. And also more indie studios would be able to create their own projects, but on a higher level with less time. And if we have more projects, that means that we would need more people. So I hope that all those who maybe would have to change their approach to their job would still have an opportunity to be still important for the industry, because the more projects we have, the more people we are gonna involve in all this situation. So that's a kind of my view of the situation. And what do you think about this idea that, okay, it would be easier to make games, then more games would be created, then more people would be needed, then people will still be of use? What would you say about that opinion? Alex, what you say?
Ooh,
Hope you managed to hear me
just
well.
I mean, I'm listening to the stream actually. So just to recap the question,
Okay,
how
We hear you like into voice, Alex.
because he might be switching on the stream and hearing the stream.
sorry, can you repeat the question?
The question was, so with the AI, the games can be, we can create games easily, but also on the market there will appear like a lot of games.
So the idea is that if it would become easier to make games via the AI, then more games would be produced per year. That's why people won't be losing their jobs, because they would be needed to make. So the more projects you need to do, the more people you need to have. That's a simple formula. So what would you say?
Cool. It's I'm looking at this, I guess, problem as in what AI does, at least for what I've read, at least. I'm not like a master or something at this, but what I've read is that AI. Oh wait, sorry, that's a different point. Uh, I mean, in that case, like if we, sorry, I'm just came from work. I'm kind of not thinking right now. Uh, Basically, more AI means more people because we need more people to maintain it, right? That's the idea.
No, the idea is that okay, people are worried that AI, the implementation of AI in the production pipeline, would lead to less people needed, and people would lose their jobs. Okay, got you? You got this point?
Yeah.
But my idea is that if it would be easier and cheaper to make the games because of the AI, then more games would be appearing on the market, right? Because, well, you have the budgets and time available, that's why you can make more games to reduce the risks and to have more opportunities to make super hits. And also more indie teams would be able to make games because it will be easier, right? Then if we have more games, then more people would be needed. So those who might that could have lost their positions would be able to preserve them because they would be needed not for exactly these games they were working before, okay, but for the new games which would be creating. Did you get me?
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. Honestly, I don't know what to think of it. Can't really say that. I guess like my initial point was that if we're gonna people gonna use AI for creating stuff, but I'm thinking from this AI from the gameplay. I don't know, like for some reason I keep thinking about gameplay. If you're gonna just talk like textures, models, stuff like that, I don't see anything wrong with that. I guess it's kind of like your point kind of makes sense.
But why are you so concerned about the gameplay? So
Uh,
you
yeah, like what I wanted to say is that let's imagine AI is gonna write gameplay for us. And a long time ago, I heard kind of a smart lines that AI for now is mimicking. It's not creating something new. It's just mimicking. And if we're gonna take that point that AI is mimicking everything, that means that games that you mentioned, there's gonna be a lot of games, but will they need it? Because every AI is just gonna, mimic everything. So there's gonna be a lot of games that are just similar and they don't have anything unique in them. That was my initial thought about that. But
But
if again,
if to think, we have like a lot of similar games now
Yeah.
that were created by people.
well, at least they have a different approach at this stuff, I guess. But like just in some future that might be an issue, I guess. And yes, there's gonna be a lot of games, but will the people create the idea that AI made if people don't want to play those games? I guess.
Do you mean like with an AI there will be a lack of ideas for new gameplay, for
Yeah,
new settings?
pretty much. Because all it
Okay.
does for now is just mimics. You can look at the chat GPT, for example. It just mimics wherever people write. Yeah, and it doesn't even have an idea what it writing, I guess. It like has keywords and it's just writing from your keywords basically. At least I think how it works. I'm not smart at that part. Don't take my opinion seriously.
Well, okay. So, Alex, if I got you right, so your main concern is that if, let's assume, as a working idea, that AI can create just the whole gameplay process, then just companies, especially big ones, would do their best just to make a lot of games which would be just because it's easy and quick to do things. They would just make a lot of, this just clones and throw them on the market, hoping that some of them would be successful, right? Just because it's quickly to do it. And they won't be trying to invest into developing something 100% new, or at least 50% new, because it doesn't make any financial sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think that you see, in this case, the point is that I strongly agree with Daria that even nowadays, especially huge companies are just making a lot of clones, usually of their own, big brands. I mean, like Assassin's Creed, like Call of Duty or Battlefield. Well, these games are cool, they're interesting and fun, but people always complain that they lack some new ideas. Well, it's a quite negotiable questions if something drastically should be changed in, for example, Assassin's Creed, which I just mentioned, because otherwise it would be an Assassin's Creed. And if a person just sees this logo on the box or in on some e-store, just he or she just, okay, it's Assassin's Creed, I know what to expect, I'm ready to pay money for that type of experience. Okay, it's 100% negotiable question, but there is a point of thinking like that. Well, I think that if they would be creating the gameplay, it's like with creating new ideas with Midjourney. I mean, cloning things is already can be done by people easily. Well, at least to some point. But I believe that if we would just grant AI with a task to develop the gameplay, would be interesting to getting something new and fresh. And especially one of the greatest, I would say, advantages of AI, if we compare it with a human being, is the speed of work, right? So what it can do, of course, its powers are quite limited, connected with the human's mind, at least now, but it works. It does what it can do really, really quickly. Then, from my point of view, if some kind of such a gameplay generation model would be created. The main idea for that, it would be to create something really new and maybe mind-blowing, so that it would be even too crazy to be just put into a real game. But then it may create, I mean, widening the borders and trying new things. Because why in current game development it's really rare when especially big companies trying to make something 100% new, right? Just because the simple fact that it's a risk. It takes lots of efforts just to test some type of a new gameplay. I mean, even on gray boxing and on some simple models, it takes time and takes money and work of big specialists, right? And in this case, if all this testing, prototyping can be moved to AI, then it would be, I would believe, more accessible. And then after trying around maybe 10 prototypes generated, maybe really draft and not really polished, but with some very unusual way of thinking that could bring very many new cool things on the table. That's how it works. Because why I'm sure that it's a kind of a right approach, at least, because, well, guys, you know that for the last 10 or even 20 years, the most groundbreaking titles like Dota, like Battle Royale games, they were created by indies, those who are not afraid to experiment. And that's a really strong point of indie gaming, that you can try things which you would never be able to try if you're working in a big professional, I mean, commercial studio, because the authorities of the studio could never afford it because it's too risky. And then in this case, if we could mix resources of huge companies and with this ability to generate gameplay prototypes quickly, well, they maybe make the situation change. Well, that's a kind of a thing which I actually do. But anyway, I personally take the AI as a new tool, and as a person who was trained drawing and painting traditionally, I mean with pencil, with brushes and all this stuff like that, well, of course, if you compare it to painting digitally is far more comfortable, at least in terms of the production. Well, people like different things, but if we compare it in terms of production, like you can copy things, you can easily recolor things, you can move things, which you can never do on the paper, on the canvas. And that's what really pushes your idea forward. Also, another thing which I would like to point out, and I believe it makes point for all the creative people in the world, well, guys, let's be frank, the human's life is limited, and one may can say even very limited. What it means that just mathematically you have a limited amount of drawings, music tracks, photographs, and all things which you can do just throughout your life. And if you have tools which would help you to put your idea in real world, on the screen, on canvas, in game, it doesn't matter where, quicker, that means that every creative person can create more things, more artworks throughout his or her life. And that's what really makes me feel warm about this new tool, actually. That's why I think it's a good stuff. Well, you know that we never would imagine where these technologies would lead to, but I want to at least hope that it would, just as you know, as people in Silicon Valley used to say, they would make the world better. That's how I think about it. Okay, guys, I think that we have around a couple of minutes left. That's why I would appreciate if you just add some kind of your own conclusion to our talk, because it's quite unusual for us. We just talk about stuff which, of course, makes a difference for our careers too. But just say in a few words what you would like to make as a kind of a conclusion to our talk. So Daria, just give us a couple of thoughts of yours.
I still believe that AI just needs more time, and people should use to it, and when it will be like a common part of our life, it would be easier to judge. And now it's hard for me to say because I'm kind of far from art, from Midjourney, from ChatGPT. So I can't say like the strict opinion now.
Okay. Alex, would you like to maybe share some kind of a summing up thoughts of yours?
We will see, because it's gonna happen eventually.
That's actually a very wise thing to say.
I'm personally would like to see the game and maybe to try the game which were created like fully through AI.
Well, I've heard about these guys and even indie studios which trying to do things like that. I remember you just today told me about a guy who's a solo developer. He's just one-man army.
Yeah,
and he's just making the game using Midjourney.
a visual novella.
But I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that he is making only visual part of the game. He is not making the code or anything like that with the AI, right?
Not sure, but yes, I remember he just make an art through Midjourney, and
Well, I would say that at current point, even a simple game can't be done fully by AI. Still, there would be necessity in fixes from the human developer. I mean, fixing some mistakes in art, make some coding and things like that. But still, I think it would be interesting at least to learn a report of this person after he publishes the game, and we'll just share how everything happened and how everything worked. That would be really, really interesting. Okay, guys, so we are having a very nice and I would say interesting talk today. That's why thank you very much for joining us this time of the day whenever you have in your location. So like, subscribe, share our posts, our videos. It really makes difference for our team. Thank you again for joining us today. And
I want to say that Alex, thanks for joining us today.
Hey.
Yes, Alex, thank you very much. Very nice of you to coming up and join and sharing your thoughts. That's really cool. Okay, guys. So as we usually say, the beast will come, and we'll see you next month. But keep an eye on our social media. There are lots of cool stuff getting posted there. Bye bye.